Hey, I just got back from seeing Green Lantern again. Yes, people, this is one of the first times, one of the few times where I need to go to a movie twice because I believe that it can be better. And I'm here to tell my second opinion about this piece. First of all, before I do that, a little funny story. I had initially gone to the 3D showing, not because I wanted to, but because I have to work at 5, and the time is now 3:27. And the next showing that was non-3D would have been at 1:50, and given that the movie's about 2 hours long, I felt it wouldn't give me enough time to get back and get my uniform and everything. So I went to the 12:50. But it turns out there was a miscommunication, and so it was the 2D showing instead, and the manager came up and apologized, and as a result, he gave everybody. Where is it? He gave everybody a free movie ticket to a 3D showing as a way of saying sorry. So now I have a free ticket to a 3D movie. I wonder what I'll see. Honestly, have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna see. Thinking about it. Thinking about it. Well, I'll decide later. I will use it wisely. Anyway, I saw Green Lantern again, and trailers were different this time. Pretty much mainly the same, except there was a trailer to Cowboys and Aliens, and they're remaking Fright Night. Anybody remember that? I haven't seen it, but I have seen it at FYE. I know James Rolfe talked about it in his Monster Madness at one point. But anyway, down to my second opinion on Green Lantern. I did like it better the second time around, and there were a couple of things that I missed. First of all, the reason I wanted to go the second time is movies are usually a lot slower for me the first time around, because I'm so excited about what I'm going to see, it feels like it can take forever. So, I really wanted to see if the pacing would be better the second time around. And I actually caught some plot lines which I missed and failed to mention in the first review. And not only that, there actually was a scene which I missed because I went to the bathroom during this scene, and by the time I got back, I had no idea what was going on. And this was the scene that could have made or break the movie for me. And for me, it made it. First of all, I will go to say, this movie does still have some pacing problems. The beginning is kind of cool, and even the ending, I actually like the ending better this time. It was like it incorporated everything from the rest of the movie. The jets, the punch, the sun, which, to be honest, is what a summer blockbuster should be. But there are still... Here. Sorry, I just did a, verification on my computer to check for viruses. I've been hearing that Macs can get viruses now, and that's got me a little paranoid. Anyway, hey, it's just what... Yeah. So many distractions. It's just what a summer blockbuster should be, but the scene that I missed was they formed a yellow power ring with the entity of fear. And they were planning to use this fear against Parallax. Fight fear with fear. But then Hal Jordan came up to Oa and said, no, don't do that. Once you use fear, once you start using fear, you'll never be able to go back. Let me use it. Let me show you that willpower can be the power, can overcome fear. And of course the Guardians are like, well, we trust your judgment, but we will not send our entire squad down to Earth on the chance that you might be right. So he said, then just send me. Let me risk it. let me show you that will can overcome fear. And they're like, okay. And that's what he does. He uses his will to overcome fear. Now, one of the boring moments which does cause the movie to drag is he's like, a Green Lantern must be without fear, and that's not me. And then they come to the conclusion, Carol's like, Hal, Abin Sur didn't want you to be fearless. He wanted you to use your will to overcome fear. There. And mainly the last scene where he's like, hey, let me use will to overcome it. Fear. Let me show you that will can overcome fear. I'm like, that's it. That's what Green Lantern is about. And that is why I like this movie much better the second time around. Now, the pacing is still bad, but there's like two scenes. There's his wowing of the girl, Carol Ferris, and there's the scene I just talked about where they say, Abin Sur wanted you to overcome fear. And when he fights Parallax at the end, he's using his will and overcoming fear with his will. And that's it. That is exactly what Green Lantern is about. Sorry, I'm getting... Green Lantern has always been about overcoming fear with will. The rings are powered by will. And overcoming fear, that is what you must do. That also explains why the other lanterns failed. They were filled with fear, thus their rings were failing. Exactly like the book. Okay. And Hal Jordan dared to face it by himself and learn to overcome will, thus cementing himself as the greatest Green Lantern. That is what Hal is about. Hal's supposed to use his power, is supposed to think outside the box, prove he's the best by doing the impossible, dare to take the challenges. That is what Hal is about. That was what made him the greatest of Green Lanterns. And I feel this movie did, in fact, capture it. Now, I will still say, I really wish there could have been more action scenes. I really wish the pacing had been better. But the movie did manage to capture the essence of Green Lantern. So I will not go far as to say this was a perfect movie. It's not as good as... It's not the great masterpiece that was Tim Burton's Batman. It's not The Dark Knight. But it did manage to capture Green Lantern, and for that I applaud it. So now, I feel it was faithful, the action was good, could have been better, and the effects were enjoyable. I raised this movie's score from 6 out of 10 to 7 out of 10. And the much more anticipated. I would raise it a bit more if there were more action scenes and better plots. One plot which I feel could have been avoided is in this one, Parallax is created when a Guardian takes control of the embodiment of fear and thus creates Parallax. Parallax was already an existing entity, and as a result, because of this origin, we had to establish this whole other plot line. And I really think what we would have been better off is if Abin Sur had killed Parallax, but a piece of him was in him, and it infected Hector Hammond. And thus Parallax breaks loose at the end. But overall, this movie captured what Green Lantern is about. It had a good amount of action. So, it was running on 3 wheels, had a few shaky moments, but managed to reach its destination. And I hope we get to see a sequel of this movie where we can take care of the problems with this first one. So I'm here to defend this movie and say it lived up to Green Lantern. It's not a great action-packed summer blockbuster, but it does get the job done. And I think critics have been too cruel to this movie. And I think part of what's unfair is everybody knows the story of Batman or Superman or Spider-Man. So when they see this presented on screen, they can instantly say, oh, it's faithful, I understand it, good score. But when they see somebody like Green Lantern, who's lesser known, and only people who've read the comics would really know him off the bat, they tend to be more harsh. It's like not giving a new actor a chance to try out. Now, so as a result, I feel this movie is being judged poorly. Again, it had its flaws, but did capture Green Lantern. And I hope we can see a sequel. Don't reboot this movie. We can do this. Yes, I'm sure everybody remembers the original Star Trek trilogy. The first movie was not that good. But then Wrath of Khan came and took everybody by storm, and that's where we took off. So I think we can do this. This was a good, faithful movie. It had its flaws, but hopefully we can see a sequel which will take care of this. Now, after seeing this movie, I can finally raise my arms and say, yes, we have our movie. We don't have a perfect one, but we have our Green Lantern movie. I'll see you guys later, and I will probably review whatever next 3D movie I go to. Still thinking about it,